Hey everyone, welcome to Insights with Alicia. Every week we gather to learn and connect, and I often say things and people want to know more about it. They like the insight from the scientific psychic. And the truth is I have experienced so many things that have transformed my life, and I love being able to share these insights with everyone, not just my clients. We talk about relationships, our behavior, life skills to literally change your life, and there are tools and ideas to support all the changes we want to make in our lives. And let's not forget about the animals. Sometimes I talk about them too. Excuse me. For those of you who don't know, I'm Alicia Sweezer, owner of Wholeness Healing. I am an intuitive life coach, animal consultant and communicator, psychic medium, and intuitive mentor. And I am super lucky because I get to provide healing and growth opportunities for people and animals. And the truth is one of the reasons that I love doing Insights with Alicia every week, besides being able to connect with you all, is it gives you a place to start creating something new in your life for free. I get to shine a light on things to show a different perspective for how you can create change for yourself. And then you get to, if you choose to, grow it on your path when you work with me individually to transform at a deeper and quicker pace. And as always, new episodes of Insights are available on Mondays. The episodes are on my YouTube channel under Alicia Sweezer and on all podcast platforms as Insights with Alicia, as well as for my readers out there. It's available on Wednesdays as a blog post on my website, Who Knew Healing. That's new with a K. Okay. So this week's episode is going to piggyback on last week's episode. For those of you who didn't see it, I highly recommend it. It's like having a free session with me. We did some energy clearing for when you are feeling stuck, when you are feeling overwhelmed, and when you are feeling out of sorts, as well as I taught some things about lowering your barriers, bringing your energy back to you, those sort of things, which are super, super, super useful tools. And so this other part that we were going to do, it was on the list to do last week, but remember, for those of you that watched, I checked the energy at the end and we were like, nope, we're full, we're good. So we're going to do the rest of it today. And I apologize for moving around so much for those of you that are watching the video. I burned my hand today and I've run all my energy work and all that good stuff on it. So there's only one little piece on my pinky that hurts, but it keeps burning. So if you see me moving my hand around, it's because I'm sticking the pinky in some water, which is very hard to find cold water in Phoenix right now. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is something that we call soul retrieval. And it goes by a couple other names as well. Now it's starting to become part of what's called parts work. And it's this idea, and I'm going to talk about it in a couple of different ways. So if for some reason soul retrieval, that language isn't a match for you, I'm going to explain it a couple of different ways so that everybody can have a chance to experience this if they choose to. So what can happen is when throughout our lifetime, we can have events that happen to us, traumatic, and there's an experience. And the idea, if we're going to go with straight soul retrieval here, that language is that a piece of your soul, a piece of your spirit gets left at that point in the timeline. And so as we go through life, we leave these little pieces of us behind, and it can be extremely healing. It can be extremely transformative when we go back and get those pieces of us, because we would like to be having this human experience with all of our being, right? And even if it's something, because I was writing a different episode about this, and it may be one of those, if you watched last week, remember when I said I have these ideas, but they're not like full episodes, they're like 10 minutes. I think this is one of those, if I'm remembering correctly, that it doesn't always even have to be a traumatic event. Sometimes we leave our energy behind in a previous relationship. And for myself, a couple of months ago, I realized that I had left some energy, like some of my personal Alicia energy was still left in some previous relationships with some roommates that I had that were not the best relationships. And so I could tell that I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, there's still a piece of me over there. There's still just energy left behind. And I want to have all of my energy. So I did this process that we're going to talk about, that I'm going to walk you through today. It's going to be like having another private session with me. And it the feelings. I'm waiting for the words to come with the feelings. What it does for you in your body. Remember last week we talked a lot about being out of your body. So we want to come into our body. That's where we have all access to our being and our body, and we get to be our most powerful and empowered. And so when we bring those pieces back, you will notice a change in your body. You will notice a change in how you feel. And I have even had massive healing occur from this process, which was not the intent that day when we did it. I was at a trade, and there was and it was so interesting because the healing that happened had nothing to do with the event. So the event was when I was little that I was doing a soul retrieval for. The part that it healed was something from my head injury, right? Which is as an adult. And so it was very, very interesting that happened. And the logical part of my brain is like, oh, but they're not linked because one was so many years ago and this one, but that's not how it works. Remember, we talked about how our mind gets in the way. And the truth is that everything underneath is energy. And so what had happened is, some of you know from my last head injury, one of the symptoms, like this, I don't know, so many words, that I lived with for over 10 years, almost 15 years, I think, if I actually go and do the math, 16, 17 years, was that every day I would pass out. Every day at 1 o'clock, my brain would just turn off. And I never knew if I was going to wake back up. Like, right. The doctors couldn't explain it. Nobody knew what was happening. This went on for years and years. Like I said, I'm not exaggerating. Plus feeling drunk with the 4 types of vertigo on top of all that at the same time. And eventually I got strong enough and healed enough where I could sometimes force myself to stay awake through that. But you're sick the whole time. It wasn't like, oh, I feel better. You were just for hours every afternoon. So what was interesting is when we did this soul retrieval, there was something from when I was young that I kept looping on. And I was like, I don't understand. I had talked to counselors about it. I talked about, I'd done energy work around it, all of the things, and it just was still kind of there. And so we did this soul retrieval, and crazy enough, I think it was a couple of days later, 2 or 3 days later, I noticed that I wasn't passing out every day anymore. That was the only thing that had changed. I was undergoing no other treatments. I was doing nothing. And it changed that fast from this thing. I am not saying that that is what happens for everybody. I am just sharing a personal healing story, which I did not know I was going to be sharing today. Just so y'all know, like, I'm just straight, because you know how private I am about some of my stuff. So this is funny. I was like, are we really going to tell this story? Oh, okay. We're going to tell the story. All right. So this is what it looks like when it's all guided by spirit. We follow our intuition. So that's what soul retrieval did for me as far as the biggest healing. And it was also interesting as I was in my marketing group this week, and we were doing some work, and I had been feeling a particular thing, and I was like, oh, I've done all this stuff. I can't, what is this? And one of the people I worked with was like, hey, what happened? Da, 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 da. And I was like, what? Because I'm usually the one doing that for people, right? So it's always wonderful when I get to receive other people's gifts that can support and help me. And so we did a little soul retrieval process, and I was laughing the whole time, crying, but laughing because I was like, this is what this week's podcast and video is going to be about. So it's an extremely powerful process. And in this space, because I can feel it and I get it, we want to take a big deep breath, because I feel all the expectations of, oh, what can this process do for me? Can it heal this, 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 and this? I understand. Believe me, you guys know I get it as far as the healing and how we want our life to look different. So we get to create the space for the healing to occur, and however it shows up. I know our little control freaks out there want the keys to, be driving the car. They want to say how it looks. I know. And we get to let the universe do its thing. This is the place where we call the play, and then we get to allow the play to occur and all of the other players to show up. One of my mentors used to say to me, she's like, you like throw the, where she was using a football metaphor. And she's like, you're the quarterback, you throw the ball. And instead of just staying there and waiting to see where the ball lands, you run downfield and try and catch the ball and try and tackle everyone. and I was like, maybe a little bit. Maybe I got a little control freak in there who likes to make sure everything's going to go a certain way. But what was happening is I wasn't allowing my team. I wasn't allowing my guides. I wasn't allowing the universe to do what I asked it to do. So when I say that I understand how easy it is to get in your own way, here's an example of that. And so this is what we're going to do today. We're going to take a big, deep breath. All right. Yes. All of that you're feeling. We're going to look at that. Okay. Everybody keep breathing. We're going to go through the same process we did last week where we take a big deep breath and we feel our feet on the floor and we bring ourselves all the way back into our body, all the way back in. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, breathe, 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 breathe. You guys are so cute because I can feel like all the expectations and the pressure. And at the same time, you're like super excited. You're like little kids of like, oh, what's this going to be? It's so cool. Oh, look, I'm going to get all emotional. Tell you, when we tap into this energy, it's a lot of stuff. It's good stuff, but it's a lot. Okay. So, all right. Big deep breath. We're going to lower our barriers. Remember we talked about last week. I know it's counterintuitive. If you have not watched last week's video, I really, really invite you to do so because a lot of this will be explained there. And today I'm not getting the messages to explain it here. We're just going to do it because we want to get into this other part. So big deep breath, lower our barriers, bring all of our energy back to us. Good job, everyone. Good job, good job, good job. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Can feel everyone's, like when they say you see your life pass before your eyes, I can see all. It's like I'm watching so many movies at the same time here and feeling them. Okay, everybody breathe. Good job. Oh, so excited. Okay, so where we're going to go today, and this is a process that you can use over and over and over. It's the same process. So, bookmark this video, podcast, whatever it is so that you have it and to use this process over and over and over. Because like I said, stuff comes up all the time. And so when I say the words, I almost said them, but it's going to suck everything in. So when I say the words of what we're going to do here, where I want you to go is one, I want you to trust yourself. So everybody keep breathing. Everybody stopped breathing when I said I was going to say the words. Everybody breathe. So I want you to trust. There is no place in here where you've got to get it right. You've got to get the right memory. You've got to get the right experience. That's not how this works. It may make no logical sense to you, and that is okay. Because that's not what this is about. So we get to take our beautiful brains and set them on the beach. Right? Just let them over there, relax, listen to the waves. Beautiful brains get a little vacation. All right. There we go. So when we start, I want you to go with whatever pops in your head first. Whatever point in your life, whether it's childhood, adulthood, experience, don't judge it. Don't go, oh, that's not big enough. Oh, that's not going to do anything. It's not traumatic. We're not looking for the highest trauma here. We're looking to follow the energy. And so when we start, go with whatever pops up first. Breathe, 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 breathe. I know it's scary, and that's okay. We are in a safe place. I put up all the protections. We are in a safe place. Tell your body that you are safe. There we go. Come back into our bodies. Good job, everyone. Good job, good job, good job. Okay. So you're going to go with whatever pops in first. And we're going to follow the energy of that. And it's going to be different for everyone as far as what you're seeing and what you're feeling and hearing. The process is the same. All right. Okay. Let's do this. So exciting. Thank you all for being willing to show up and do this with me today. It's a massive amount of receiving and healing that goes on. So I really want to acknowledge and honor those of you who are showing up for this today. It is not always easy. And it's an extremely vulnerable place to be in. And this process is very vulnerable. So know that you're safe. You are not alone, and you are loved. Okay. So we're going to start the retrieval process, the soul, spirit, energetic retrieval, whatever that is for you. Ooh, oh, geez. It's like ding, 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 ding. All these images started popping up. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Trust. Breathe into what came up. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Particularly for my guys out there, my men, this is an extra sort of awkward. That's the word they're giving me. I was like, is it uncomfortable? Is it, and they're like, nope, this is awkward. So, because particularly in society, men are just told they're not allowed to be vulnerable, right? It's just, we won't even get into that today. But those of you that are listening, this may be a new experience for you, and that's okay. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. We are so glad that you are here with us. Okay. Just waiting for everyone's bodies to just chill out a little bit, just cool down a little. We're going to lower the temperature, even though it's 116 in Phoenix today. Okay. There we go. So we have that memory, feeling, thought, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be like a full-blown, remembrance. And that's okay, because you got the peace. That's all we're looking for, is that piece of energy. Everyone keep breathing. Okay. So I want you to take that energy and I want you to put it in front of yourself. And whether it's a picture, a sound, a feeling, right? Because we all get our energy in different ways. Talk about the clairs. If you don't know the clairs, there's a 3-week series on it. Watch, listen, read, so that you'll know how your intuition shows up. So however that's looking for you in this moment, put it in front of you. Take a big deep breath. And I want you to lower your barriers. And I want you to open your heart. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Keep breathing. I know that this can be hard. And remember, we're not opening our heart to the world. We're not opening our heart to other people. We're opening, I'm gonna cry. We're opening our heart to a piece of ourselves. Right? Feel the difference in that? It's very, very different. It's a different kind of vulnerability. You know, at this point in time, you are completely safe. And whatever this remembrance is, this memory that you have, this is about bringing it back to you. At this point in time, it's not about forgiving the other people that were involved. That can come later. It's not about processing the rest of the memory. That comes later also. This is about bringing it back to us, bringing home a piece of ourselves that we left somewhere else. And any judgments that you have about that, go ahead and let those go. It happens. You didn't do anything wrong when this happened. We usually do it as a protection. Other times, like I said, with, other people, those kind of the energy that gets left in other relationships, it was energy that we needed for protection then. We don't need it to stay with them now. We're going to bring it back to us. So just because we've done this doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. Okay, good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, so we just have this piece in front of us. And now oh, hang on. We've 80%. Oh, I gotta wait for the 20% hanging out over here who are still a little hesitant. We love them about opening their hearts. They're thinking, which I can completely appreciate. Because I like to think my feelings a lot. Okay. Good job. We're getting there. Some of them laughed at that. Oh, we got some guys hanging out in the corner. It's all right. Breathe. Everybody breathe. Everyone breathe into this welcoming, open space that we have created for transformation and healing. So good. All right. One more. It's like, come on. You wanna. All right. There we go. Good job. We got everybody here with us now. Breathe. Oh my gosh, goodness. Goodness. It's beautiful. Okay. My ear itches. All right. Gonna let that just sit for a second. So everyone's in. Everyone has at least cracked open their heart space. I could see the light inside. I could see it. Yeah. I know. It's a lot, everyone. Those relationships, those traumatic events, the people we trusted who then caused harm. I know. And we are no longer in those situations. So we get to bring that piece back to us. We no longer have to protect ourselves in that way. All right. Good job. So we have this piece in front of us. We've opened our heart space. Now I want you to smile if you can. And I don't want it to be a forced smile, like, oh, this is what the process says I have to do, smile. But I want it to come, if you're able, from your heart space. If you're like, hey, there's that piece of me. If it happens to be a smaller version of yourself from your childhood, remember that it's a child, right? And there's just a particular way that we look at little kids and their innocence, even when they are throwing tantrums, doing obnoxious things, maybe to their silly siblings. And if it's an older version of you, or even a very recent version of you, I invite you to look at that energy with the same innocence, with the same grace. And with the same love. Because what we're doing in this moment is we're loving ourselves in that memory of when we trusted someone else to love us and they didn't. So we're going to give that love to ourselves. And we know that it's clean, right? You guys know I'm always talking about clean. It doesn't have any cooties, doesn't have anyone else's energy in it. It's safe, unconditional love that we're giving to ourselves. There we go. I'm thoroughly enjoying having our men show up in this because it's a different feeling for them. And I'm saying men, I'm talking about the masculine energy. Like this is, gender doesn't come into play here. But I am categorizing as women and men just because the masculine and feminine energy. And they are showing up as men that I'm tapped into right now. And so it's very interesting because on a scale like I'm tapped into right now, collectively seeing how men are processing this. It's different than when I have my male clients in front of me and we're doing it one by one, but this is really amazing and healing to see how our men are showing up for healing also. I get asked by women all the time, how come there's no men that do personal growth work? How come there's no men that are conscious? There are, I promise you. And some of them are here with us today. There we go. And I'm so appreciative and grateful for you all of you sharing your experiences with me in this. There we go. Because this is, like I said, it's on a much larger scale than it's either like a one-on-one client or a small paid group event that I do this kind of work in. So the massive scale that we're doing it on today is very, very cool. And I love being able to see all the avenues that you are all taking. There we go. Good job. So part of this, as I've been teaching and explaining, as well as why we're also letting the energy dissipate, right? This is part of the healing, kind of like what we did last week. And we're just waiting for everyone to be in the same place. There we go. Good job. Good job. You guys are super quick at this. All right, everyone breathe. I know you got your Kleenex if you need them. Probably should have said that at the beginning. Like, you might want to get some Kleenex. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we don't. But sometimes, you may want to be prepared. Everyone's hearts. It's so very sweet. You are all so precious. Okay. So now that we can look at this piece in front of us with the innocence and the love, we're going to ask, is there anything that this piece of us wants us to know before we move forward? Wow. Everyone's brains just popped off the beach and came back. That was awesome. All right. Everybody take your brains, because this isn't a brain thing, but I get it. You're so cute. Okay. We're going to take our brains. We're going to put them back on the beach, because this is about listening and receiving. When we ask this piece of us, what is it that you'd like us to tell us, if anything? It's about receiving. It's not about figuring it out. It's not about, where do I put this piece of information? It's about receiving. And we've already opened our heart space, so the receiving happens naturally. Okay. Good job. So many messages coming in for you guys. And they're ranging from asking you to release the judgment. They're ranging from providing information about that particular memory of what some other information that went on that you may not have remembered until this moment. And so it's going to help you process this event when we're done here. There we go. Just waiting on the our chunk over here. Remember, I was like, we're all here, and then we have our really on purpose brain strong people over here, like checking every step of the way. You're so cute. Okay. Almost done. Just a few more messages still being delivered. And this is a place you can be writing this down. You can pause, if you're listening, right, or watching, pause the video, pause the podcast, and spend some time here. And like I said, this process that I'm teaching you used over and over and over. There we go. Good job. Okay. So after all the messages are received, we're going to take another big deep breath and we're going to come into our body. All the way down, feet on the floor, lower barriers. There we go. And we're going to take this piece that's in front of us and we're going to bring it back into our bodies. So we're going to take it and we're literally going to visualize, or even physically, whatever your process feels like here for you, whatever's a match. And we're going to take it and we're going to put it back in our heart. And we're going to place our hand on our chest. And we're going to feel that piece become part of us as a whole again. It's like a jigsaw puzzle getting that last piece in, right? Has the best feeling in the whole world. You're like, oh, yes, last piece. And we're going to let all of that energy flow through our body. Breathe. Everybody breathe. This is a very new experience for some of the men that are here. Like I was telling you, they're they're like, wait a minute, what is this? They're so cute. Okay. And keep breathing. This is the integrating part. If we bring that piece of us back in here and we can wrap them into ourselves. It was a younger part of you. You can wrap your arms around them, wrap them in a blanket, whatever the visual is for you, or the sound. Both of those come with a feeling as well. If it's an older version of you, it's the same thing. Who doesn't like to be wrapped in a blanket, regardless of whatever age you are? Right? Especially one of those real soft, fuzzy blankets. Best thing ever. Okay. So we're going to bring that back in. It gets all integrated. Big deep breath. I know it may feel a little uncomfortable. I know it may feel a little out of sorts. It's just because it's part of you back in your body. And so the energy is going to continue to run. The transformation is going to continue to happen for a little while. All right. And everything that comes up, don't judge it. Just recognize it. Whatever your process is, whether it's to journal or to speak with, an inner circle person, or if it's a lot, this is what I'm here for, right? Book a session. We will work through all of this. Because a lot of times this stuff can bring up things, and then we want to continue shifting it and transforming it. And we want to have a guide for that, who can be a little more directed and on purpose and show us, kind of get us there. You know me, I always like things quicker. But get us where we want to go, right? That's the cool thing about what I do. I don't do it for you. That's not what a coach is. I'm your guide. Good job. Good job. Good job. So there's a lot of energy that gets released again. Like I talked about last week, you may have weird food cravings, right? Sugar, salt, water. You may be tired. You may be energized. If there was a lot of things that came up for you, always I invite you to be mindful of your space, right? We want to sage our house, apartment, wherever we are, our living space. We'd like to do that on a regular basis. I always invite everyone to do that. Just to keep our space clean, right? I mean, I sage constantly because this is the work that I do. Just to get that energy out of the house. Open a window, let it go. There we go. I know some questions are going to pop up. I can feel them. So just take note of them and then ask the universe. Be like, what is it for me to know here? Ask the questions to the universe. Ask them, what else is possible? What else is available? Your specific questions that come up. Who can support you in this? Okay. And so we're going to take another last big deep breath. And we're going to, what is the words that I want to use here today? Okay. We're going to take our energy, our aura, and we're going to wrap it around ourselves today. Not in a wall kind of situation where we're putting our walls up and our barriers. Just like I talked about the nice blanket. We're going to wrap it around ourselves so that everything is within us. Everything that we've brought back is with us. Integrated, calm, peace. And we are all of ourselves. Another big deep breath. You want to keep breathing. Good job. Good job. There we go. Well done, everyone. Super proud of you. Want to honor you so much and acknowledge all of you that showed up here today while I was recording this, as well as those of you who tune in and listen and watch this. Because like I said, not everybody does it. This is a very courageous thing that we choose to do. It's one of those parts where we talk about strength through vulnerability, because we know what it's like to be vulnerable in this world. And this is a very vulnerable process. It's a very private process, or someone you do with, or something you do with other people that are clean and safe and that can witness it. I'll probably do a episode on witnessing, because there's such a transformation that happens when we do something ourselves versus when we do something and someone else witnesses it. Completely, they're both great. One is just off the charts. I talked about that a little bit last year, and I think some of the webinars I did for the coaching program. So thank you for showing up for this. And I want you to thank yourselves, because you did it. I just teach. You were the one courageous enough to take the steps to do this. You were the one brave enough to look at what popped up. You were the one loving enough to open your heart space and bring those pieces back of you back home. And I really want to honor that. You did an amazing job. Thank you for showing up today. All right, one last big breath. Great job, everyone. Great job. Okay, everyone, have a fabulous week. If this was a contribution to you, then please subscribe, like, share, do all of the things, comment to get this info into the algorithms that can help people. And if there's anything that if this was, I'd love to hear, I always want feedback. So if this was helpful in any way, if it wasn't, if you were like, what the hell is this? I always love to hear the feedback. And as I said, this is a process you can use over and over and over again. Okay. And yes, a massive thank you to everyone, as always, who's donated to my cosmic tip jar. Allows me to create more free things like this that I can then give to people. Anyone who feels led to do so, links are in the descriptions. There's multiple options. Thank you so much. Everyone, have a fabulous week. Breathe. Remember that you are safe. And I will see you next week. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.